put this one on my list, but I ended up changing that. So when I got the water filter the other day, or the fresh water, there was this corner of my bench that was been a mess for ages. And I've always said, oh, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. And as soon as the filter came and it looked so pretty, I'm like, oh, I've got to get rid of the mess now.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have not done anything on my list. One of them is my underwear drawer. So actually, it's the same problem. Underwear drawer, my wardrobe. I've been trying to lose weight for a long time and I refuse to buy any more things in this size. So I'm tolerating some very unattractive underwear. I'm not sure
And
how
so
that
who else
strategy is
needs
going to
to
help
do the
me
underwear
with a
underwear
partner.
drawer? Love it. Rachel's snapping that one. Yeah, yeah. Can anyone else top the underwear drawer? Anyone else on their tolerating list that we can all share? Everyone's like, no. I know Kim, I know she's eating dinner at the moment, but Kim is like the person that will go through all of her drawers, all of the things like weekly. I'm not sure if she still does that, but she used to love
Wow,
doing that.
that
Um,
is awesome.
but here we go.
Wow,
Kim's Kim's
thank you.
tolerating friendships. Kim's on the friendships. Yeah. Um, yeah. Well,
I,
if Kim wanted to become like the declutter coach, like there's a lot of
Yeah,
money
please, I need
available.
you.
Yeah.
there was a time when you did that, wasn't there, Kim?
Oh,
When
there
we
we
back in the day, I remember your schedule and you're like, no, it's you're not going to be able to help me. And I was like, challenge accepted.
Yeah. I think there's so much interested when you said it, Emma, I was like, everything that's come up within this space, I'm like, why are you holding a mirror? Every time I'm like, yeah, but like
Just
similar
for
to
you,
you, I
Kim.
think it's sometimes like the bench that I'm eating at right now, had I not cleaned it, it's just not enjoyable. But why are we tolerating it? It's because we want to spend our time doing something else. But I'm like, I look at it every morning and I'm like, if I just bothered to clean it each time, it won't be overwhelming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah.
And that's one small part of our house. But yeah, I've been slowly, I think there was a big thing with Jess. I hope people don't mind me sharing this. I used to hate myself for the amount of clutter I had. And then it was tied into a lot of other emotions and baggage. And then the more I cleared up things, the more my mental health and clarity was starting to ease in and things would become more abundant and I was more happy with life. And I'm like, shocker. Yeah.
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 Thank you for sharing that because that's exactly what we're going to go in more depth with that, Kim. And the follow on for you there, Emma, is it can also impact your weight.
Mm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, now I got your attention. No.
Tell me more.
I need some extra like nitty gritty. What are we tolerating? Like yeah, I was going to say to you, Rachel, and then you've moved from there to there. Hey, Rachel, tell us what's on our list we could add from your suggestions?
I haven't even thought about this. Can you hear me? Sorry. Um, mm, I don't know, but I do think that that job opportunity that I had could have been something where I'd just be like, oh yeah, like I'll just do that. That would have been me tolerating that. Um, so there's one.
Yeah, yeah, that was huge, and I really appreciated you sharing that one because it's a good reminder that the sign could lead you up to like that validation. Like, yes, I am good enough in this job, like to be offered the job, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the full package, the full job is actually the right thing. Like, did that make sense? Oh, I forget that you weren't part of the Instagram live like we're doing now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that was really interesting, and I was like, oh, that's. But I was also like, why did I do that? Like, why go through a whole course just to get that aha, like that message? Seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah, but Jess, do you have any insight into that one?
I mean, when we're talking about intuition, it could mean like a no or a not now. And who knows, maybe like later on down the track, there becomes a time when you're like, actually, I want a bit of a change, whether it be like a change full time or just like a little bit of a change part time, like who knows? Like, I think there obviously could be more that comes from it, but I think it's a lot of people do courses and do things and they're like, oh, okay, that was a waste because I'm not doing it anymore. But I don't believe so. Like, I believe that there's so many different lessons that you learn, whether it be in real time or later on down the track when you're like, oh, thank gosh, like I did that because I wouldn't have realized, I wouldn't have understood this now. So I feel like all of it will continue coming to you.
Yeah, that's actually very true. As soon as you said that, oh yeah, there's 100 other things I gained from doing that course, and I don't regret it. Like I liked doing it. So that's very true. Yeah.
Nice. All right, I will get the slides going. For everybody here, a big, big, big thank you because I know your time is really valuable. Tonight, I am going to be hosting 99% of this night, and then next week is mostly Jess hosting, and then it will go back to me, and then night 6 we will come back to sharing. So this particular night, that's why, like, Claire, you're not letting Jess talk. Like, no, she gets to talk next week. It's right, Jess?
Yeah, and we're also, I think, finding the flow. I think with tonight's theme and slides and things, I think it's most beneficial to just focus on one person speaking. I think that's how you're going to gain the most out of it, to be honest. So, yeah, I think this is going to be the best flow.
Yay! But I'm still going to let you do the intro-y bits. She says, what?
Now you tell me.
Okay, so hello everyone. So we are on to night 3. We're on night 3, right? I feel like we've been doing this for so long. We just get to meet up every fortnight and chat about all things manifesting, the manifesting game, like Sophie says. Okay, so yeah, we have been chatting a little bit, but if you'd love to just put in the chat, yeah, any wins, any questions. I know that we've been chatting a lot in the Telegram group. There's been a lot of wins, a lot of shares, a lot of angel numbers, signs, intuitive thoughts, intuitive decisions being made. But just drop that in the chat. How are we all going? We'd love to hear it.
And then I'll go to the next slide here.
Yeah.
Tonight, we will be going into depth about what are you tolerating and exploring your emotions, how that links to the outcome that you're getting with your manifesting and the strategy around that. We're also going to do a really, losing my voice, we're also going to do a really, really powerful process that I sent to Jess last week. And Jess, your response?
Honestly, I've done a lot of processes in my life especially with you, Claire, and this process was wow. Like, I was telling Chanel a little bit about it today, and I'm just so excited for everyone to experience this. I'm excited to hear everyone's experience as well after it. So, yeah, wow.
Yay. Thank you, because that's where you may find a bit of the content a bit heavy, and I promise I'll get you out at the other end. We will definitely lighten the mood. Tonight we're covering what are you tolerating? And I've just quickly checked, Jess, are you able to see the comments?
Yeah, we do have a question quickly.
Yep.
So Emma's just asking, she was saying about last time we were speaking about the intuition and understanding a yes and no in the body, and how to learn that,
How to learn the yes or the no in the body.
what that feels like. I'm assuming that's what you mean, right? What that feels like in the
Yeah,
body.
feel free to speak
Because I
up.
was trying it, I was asking myself questions like, is your name Bruce? And I couldn't feel anything.
Do you know the trick
You're
with
like,
that
maybe
one
my
there,
name is
Emma?
Bruce.
The trick with that one, because I've done this too, where your muscle test go like, yeah, my name is Paul, and it's like, yes, your name is Paul. Like, hold on, I actually did have a past life where my name was Paul. Like, there's still a
Oh,
cellular memory going, yeah. Uh,
maybe I was Bruce.
yeah, maybe you were. So So when it comes, may I ask, was there a particular scenario where you were trying to get the yes, no?
No, I was just curious because I'd love that because I don't get it. And I think that'd
Yeah.
be really helpful.
So normally what happens is usually there's a question or an intention. Maybe I should call that friend or not, or like this is the right time to call them or not. And you will get that bodily response of like a lightness when it is a yes. So this is, Emma, I'm not sure if you ever tracked David at work, but I would track his energy. Oh, he's finished his lunch. I don't have to hear him chew. 1:19, can I call David now? And my energy would light up. But a minute
Oh,
before that, my energy was heavy and it was like, no, don't contact him. And it's just a matter of playing with the questions, your intention, and like, yeah, poor Jess. So like I check in like, oh, can I contact Jess now? Yep. Or and 9 times
okay.
out of 10, I'll get her to message within 30 seconds. Like, you're pretty quick, Jess, or the manifesting before that set things up.
Yeah.
So it's a lightness.
Mm.
Yeah, it's definitely a lightness for a yes.
Okay.
But a
Mm.
heaviness can mean not now, which is where it gets confusing because you might be triggering fear of like interrupting people. I don't want to get in the way, blah, blah, like, so that needs to get resolved. That's usually the heaviness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does anyone else want to elaborate to that one? Any kinesiologists in
Yeah,
the room?
I've had that. I normally ring my mum on the way home from work, and sometimes I'm just not in the right headspace to listen to talking with her. And sometimes, and I try my best to ring her as often as possible. And sometimes I go to ring and I just get this, like you said, this heaviness in my gut. Just don't ring tonight. Just don't ring. But then feel guilty because I'm not ringing her, and it'll be 2 days or 3 days, and then I'll get I could be dead and you wouldn't know. So I do it, and then we have an argument over something, whatever. She can't hear me properly or whatever. And then I hang up and I go, I knew I shouldn't have rung her. I knew it, but I didn't listen to it. So yeah, I understand that the heaviness is definitely a part of it. It's definitely there.
Yeah, and then if you take action on guilt, then yeah, you're going to attract in the argument.
Yeah. So I should have just not.
Cool.
I know better now.
Was there any other questions there?
If anyone has any questions, you can jump off. But in the chat, Chanel's saying that she's been seeing feathers. They haven't really been her sign, but she's been seeing them as a sign that everything's going to work out, which is really, really cool. We love that. And Corrine is feeling she's moving through life with a lot less resistance and a lot more gratitude, which is really cool to hear as well. We love that.
Yay! On the path to freedom.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So we're already talking about what we've been tolerating. Emma's been great. We're tolerating the messy underwear drawer. Kim's just talking about tolerating the messy kitchen bench. There's a list here, right? And even when you think about what are you tolerating, even if you don't write it down, like there's a list, right? Just quickly checking before I go too much ahead. Can anyone not relate to this question? Like, no, I'm tolerating anything in my life. Like,
Yeah.
that we could all relate to you tolerating something.
Mm.
Can we please put in the chat really quickly, or even express it? What are the emotions that come up when you think about what you've been tolerating?
Guilt,
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah.
Frustration, Chanel saying.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, the resentment, Rachel. Yeah. The overwhelm. Yeah. Nice. We're in good company here. We're all feeling we're all feeling the feelings. Impatient. Why have I got full body tingles on this one? Like, this excites me. The judgment, yeah, towards self. We can work through that one. Fantastic. We're all on the same page. Now, within the slides here, yeah, when we think about what we've been tolerating, there's a list. shame, guilt, anger, resentment, all of the things. And you may say to yourself, well, so what if I'm frustrated? Like it's just a feeling. All of these emotions in NLP, we would consider them limiting emotions. All of these are pulling your energy down into that restricted, scarcity, limited point of view. So anytime that you're in that sense of shame, guilt, judgment, all of the things, we're immediately restricting our energy. And for those who are manifesting in financial freedom, financial security, freedom itself, I should say, health, well-being, the goal is actually to pursue your passion with excitement. So all of the goals here to write a book, to have the career, to have the love life, we want to get into not a fake happiness, but to pursue that with passion and excitement, because we've already experienced that when we're playful with manifesting, the numbers, the signs, the butterflies start to show up. So we're already building the evidence that this is an important piece to get playful. Now, feelings reveal if you're pursuing what you want with passion and excitement. The other thing to note is that your limiting emotions are letting you know that you're giving your power away and it's stopping you from having what you want. And I'm going to go into a lot more detail with this. If we all think about a time when you had to pay a really, really big bill and just watching everybody's energy there, watching their eye patterns. Yes, we remember. Just the thought of paying that really, really big bill, you can feel your energy drop, right? You're like, oh, there's a way to start this one, Claire, well done. But I want you to notice that even the idea, the thought, there was something there back then when you had to pay that big bill, that you saw something or you heard someone say there was a bill to be paid. There was potentially the gasp, like, oh gosh, it costs that much. Or maybe you got an adrenaline spike. Somehow the body responded. And then what happened was your mind then named the sensation. It then named that feeling, oh, I'm now feeling loss. Compared to a positive example, that's my Lily. She's now 21, nearly 22. I see externally, I see something I adore. My heart skips a beat. And this means that I'm in love. And so the reason that we're looking at this is that when you're manifesting, again, financial security, health and well-being, you need to start dialing in exactly like what Emma was asking about. You need to dial in that self-awareness to notice what meaning that you're putting to that experience and start to question what's causing you to tolerate these limiting situations or the limited, just whatever you're tolerating, the pinched shoes, tolerating the neighbor's noise, whatever it is. So within manifesting now, the next step is to start getting more of that inward awareness. Because let me share this with you. This particular secret that let me start again. Let me share with you the secret that I listen for when I'm working with clients and they're not manifesting what they want. Had no plans to share this with you until today. The slides went in a different direction. What I am going to share with you, I know I could easily sell this in a 10,000 group container. So it is going to go really deep, really quickly. So listen in, and I want you to also check how it resonates with your intuitive truth. When clients are coming to me, they're normally confused, overwhelmed, why life is not working. On the outside, it looks like everything's working perfectly. They've got the house, they've got the job, they've got the calendar full of responsibilities. They've got the smile, but underneath that, there is definitely the exhaustion and the unhappiness. It looks like life's working, but they're not feeling fulfilled. They show up, and normally there's a health component connected to it. Anxious, waking up tired, food sensitivities, weight gain, or the other end, IBS, depression, autoimmune flare-ups. Their limitations are not staying quiet. Their body is starting to scream for their attention with the fatigue, with the illness, with the pain. It's an alarm that's trying to get their attention. And if the people in their lives paid attention, not just the client themselves, but it would be a really strong message that I'm not coping. The limiting emotions is also highlighting that they're not going to be making decisions in alignment with what they want. They're going to feel stuck, overwhelmed, and their finances are going to reflect that. Normally it comes back to beliefs like, I can't ask for what I want, it's going to cost me, or it's actually safer to stay small or do it myself. So I'm not sure if this is starting to relate to people like, yeah, well, I'll just do it myself. So much easier without the guilt, the frustration, the resentment. So yes, the house, the job, the responsibilities have been created, most likely based on what other people have told them they should do or should be to have that security. And yet inward, there isn't that emotional security. They still feel empty. They're still feeling unwell, craving the freedom. I've got to say, Jess, you like my slides here with all my little people?
I love them. I love your slides with all the pictures. I love them always.
Hopefully it's translating because, yeah, this is really trying to illustrate how we keep ourselves more small, carry the burdens, holding ourselves in the corner, not asking for help, or we just get sick and let everyone know I'm not coping.
Mm.
So when I'm working with the clients that I work with, it's really clear that they're living by this invisible rule that the other person should come first and that I should come second. And this is the main thing that's actually draining their energy, causing their fatigue, their burnout, their stress, their autoimmune flare-ups. How do I get this? How do I know that they're living by this invisible rule? Because I listen for it and I know what to listen for. I will ask them, what's a recent problem that you've experienced? And this is what I'm listening for. The same thing that we started off with tonight's slides. I hear them say, like, yeah, my partner, my boss, my neighbor was being really critical. I felt sick to my stomach. And it meant that I was not enough. And immediately I can tell that they have made the other person more important. They've taken it personally and they've put a meaning to it that means something negative or limiting about themselves. And so now we've got a disconnect here. They're telling me in coaching, like, yeah, I want more personal freedom, money, whatever else it is. But they're coming up against a lot of childhood programming of what they needed to do by others' rules, others' standards, other people's expectations when they were little to gain the approval and the acceptance of others. So on one hand, they know what they want. And then on the other hand, like, oh, there's guilt if I don't call mum. Like, there's guilt if I don't do what the other person requires. So underneath this, why they're feeling empty is because of that strongest emotion of that fear. And we're going to go into more detail, but it's usually from childhood of the fear of abandonment, disconnection, being disowned, not following the family rules, not following the family traditions. So it's not just the obvious things that are causing them to go down where their manifesting's not working. This is really deep within their core identity, which is really, really, really deep within the unconscious mind. So there's going to be some clues when they're feeling like resentful or frustrated, like or judged. What do I have to change about me to be accepted by you? And so we're now putting the other person's priorities in front of their own. And this is the thing when it comes to manifesting, because you can live like that, that's all good. But when it comes to manifesting, making your goals non-negotiable, then this isn't about thinking positive. It's not even actually being positive, because that's just going to get you to tolerate a whole lot more problems. But it's actually becoming the truest version of yourself. This is what we're aiming for when it comes to coaching, personal healing, personal freedom, manifesting, call it what you want. The path, your intuition is asking you to come back to that fullest expression of you, away from all of the layers and the shoulds and the everything else that goes with it. Before I go on, is there any questions or anything here or any insights from you, Jess?
No, this is making a lot of sense to me. This is why, yeah, I think this journey is, well, this is the part that a lot of people it starts to click for people, because when you ask questions like, what is it that I have to change about me for you to accept me? It's a good way to put it so that people start seeing, oh, maybe I have been putting myself second. And then these are the little clues where we can start to figure out, just let Christian, these are the little clues where we can start to figure out, like, oh, this is where we can do that inner work. This is the step 3 and 4. So, no, I think this is, yeah, good.
Is there any questions from anybody else there, or I'll keep going? We'll go to really big question time. All right, I'll keep going. Yeah, so if you were asking yourself, like, why is my manifesting not working? What, like, where's my job? I can manifest in the feathers, but I can't manifest in the job, the car, the whatever. There's better questions to ask yourself, and that comes within that space of journaling, coaching, self-coaching processes, what we're sharing in the resources. What are you tolerating? And why are you giving your power away? If you want those permanent results with financial freedom, the health, the well-being, then we must address why you're giving your power away. And if you want money, we must address that core fear of why you're still living to seek others' approval, validation, and acceptance. And I think I've shared here before with most of you, I won't work with money, the topic of money, with anyone on the first session. In fact, I probably won't touch it for the first 5 sessions, because if the core fear is like, I'm not good enough, they're going to find a way to make that money go away. Now, when you get a woman to feel into their self-worth, their head held high, they know their values, they know what they stand for, woo, you watch that money come in really fast. And this is that really deep understanding that, yes, it can be uncomfortable, but I'm not here to give you surface level solutions. So the insights that I'm going to share tonight are quite invisible to the logical mind. These are going to be programs and beliefs held really within deep, within the depth of your unconscious mind. And that's why you need to feel into tonight's session about how it's resonating, rather than the mind trying to object and find justifications why that's not the case. So your limiting feelings are huge clues to your unconscious limiting beliefs, indicating that you're giving your power away and stopping you having what you want. They're highlighting again that your energy is going into scarcity, fear, lack, and limitations. So my question is, why would anyone tolerate this? Why would anyone give their power away? And as I've already said, it comes back to the really deep beliefs here running the show, based on childhood consequences. Now, as children, we all need to belong to survive, right? As adults, we take what we've been taught out into the world to be independent, to navigate this world. And lucky you if you got the really good, healthy parents who knew about self-worth. They modeled that emotional safety, the boundaries, the unconditional love. These particular parents would teach their little ones that they matter, no matter what, and that they're allowed to take up space, that they're allowed to be seen, heard, and valued for exactly what they want. These are the types of parents that would hold 2 spoons to their little one and say, which spoon is important to you? Like, which one do you want for dinner? So that they then get the internal validation, not because the spoon is any different, but because they're now building in the trust that I make decisions and I make good decisions for myself without needing somebody else to tell me yay or nay. Does that one make sense? Yeah. The other carers, stuck in scarcity patterns, where they've had grandparents and great-grandparents go to war and the Great Depression, and they've got their own issues there with safety and survival, still love you, but because of this entanglement with their limiting patterns, sometimes these little people can get taught, I'm better if I'm quiet, if I don't ask for what I want, if I behave perfectly, then maybe like that stress will pass. And this is where I want to go into a little bit more depth here. I know it's a bit heavy, but from a child's perspective, if you think about when you were growing up, there was this understanding that the consciousness hadn't actually formed enough to understand what was around corners. So we understood that the world was quite big and unpredictable. You don't get to choose your environment. You can't leave, even if it's chaotic. So in the family home, if it's chaotic and stressful, you learn to adapt, you learn to please, you learn to perform. Please keep this in mind when we're going through limiting emotions and beliefs in night 5. Their child's deepest fear is that disconnect. And so this is usually what will happen is they will make the other person more important, that if my parents are not okay, I'm not safe. So this is that deep training again, when even we're looking to our husbands, our partners, our bosses, our teachers, that we still put them first if we haven't done the inner work, and then your needs come second when things have calmed down. And there's any wonder then why you would attract in a partner or a job situation that mirrors what you had growing up. The reason why we attract that is because we look to ourselves to say, if I could fix this man, I couldn't fix my dad, but if I could fix this man, then that proves to me I'm good enough. Like I can never repeat old patterns. And so we continue to attract in where our buttons were pushed in the past until we again resolve those. I'll bring it to questions in a minute. I'm nearly there. Healers in the room, the healers in the room, people who are really empathic, sensitive souls. You'll know this one. You'll know that you will psychically scan the room. You will pick up if anybody around you is uncomfortable. And then the childhood patterns start to come in. I feel pressure and either want to disassociate or I want to fix, because your nervous system is so uncomfortable with other people being uncomfortable. And the way you solved that when you were little was to get in there, fix, help, rescue, do all of the things. And so the mind is now naming this, that, yeah, I'm not safe. What should I do to keep the peace? And and then feeling resentful, angry, frustrated. So we're going pretty heavy. This is where the child will do all of the things they believe they should do to try to bring peace back to the home. People please, be the responsible one, even be the smart one, like whether it's sports or at school to get the A+, like, okay, I make my dad proud and then he's not stressed. The rebellious one, the truth teller, like, if I tell everybody, the situation of what's actually going on, like, then we actually can work this out. Or the hard worker, where they do all the things for everybody in the space. And again, I'll go through this bit quickly, but the child's probably going to like help tidy the house or help be the third parent, to be the emotional buffer. We all know this. I don't have to go into too much detail about what we all did. And then it goes in, I'll go one more step here. I know I'm okay if I put the other person's needs first, mine second. That way I can avoid conflict and I'm safe. If I put the other person's needs ahead of my own, then I can tend to them, I can please them, I can avoid that confrontation. Oh, good, I have that connection. If I put the other person first, I can avoid rejection, I can do all the things and be there and help and fix. And now I feel a little bit more in control. If I put the other person first, I can also shapeshift. I can now change who I am again to keep the peace, to avoid what's right for me, again, so I matter to someone else. And so we can see from even night 2, when we were talking about motivation, if you're away from motivation, that you're going to keep creating more problems. This is why we see issues like within perfectionism, procrastination, people pleasing, proving, masking, that you're avoiding the disconnect. You're avoiding everything that meant that, yeah, I can't even finish the word. Again, compared to a healthy family where they teach their little ones, like, I'm confident to do what I want. So as an adult, if you move forward in life and you continue to play the role of the people pleaser, it's going to cost you. What we did to ensure the belonging growing up, I should be easy, I should be helpful, I should never upset anyone, should never ask for too much. These are the invisible rules, the beliefs and things that are carrying forward. Again, that's stopping you from having what you want because you're making it about what the other person wants. And because that's so important, this is where the guilt comes in, the shame, the resentment, because your adult self is saying this is not right. Oh, your turn, Jess, while I catch my breath. Any questions, anyone?
Yeah. Anyone have any questions? Does this excite everyone as much as it excites me? I know it's heavy stuff, but I think maybe because I've done quite a lot of this work and I don't know, things come to my mind all the time when I'm like listening to this that I know what it's like to come out on the other side of it, and it's so, so worth it. And that's why I get excited now. Does this make sense for everyone? Is there any questions? Yeah, cool.
I've got to check with Stacey. I can see you nodding. Is there anything there that you want to share? And if not, that's completely fine. We're going real deep, real quick.
Yeah, I relate to so much of all of this, and I suppose I'm starting to come out of the other side with it. Um, it was heavy because it's all very recent. But yeah, I relate to it a lot, and it took me a long time to actually realize what I was doing, and obviously working with you and having those sessions, and yeah, I suppose just working through the things where I just would be like, well, maybe it's this, or just try and excuse certain behaviors and all of that sort of stuff. And yeah, I sort of look back now and I've grown a lot from then. So yeah, it's still like it's still heavy because I'm still sort of like kind of in it, but I'm starting to come out the other side. So I relate to that a lot. Yeah.
If I may ask, Stacey, do you think it would have been helpful to hear this at the beginning of the coaching journey or coming out the other end where it's like, no, I know what this is. I know what she's talking about. Like, which order would it have been more helpful to know about this?
I don't think I really would have resonated with it back then, to be honest. I think it like it would I don't know, I would have seen it in a different lens and I would have understood it, but I don't think I would have related it back to me thinking that it was relevant. So I think yeah, the order in which we've done things, and even that's why I was nodding so much, like my head almost fell off. I was nodding because I was just like, yes,
Yeah, that's what Claire was doing in those sessions.
yeah, yeah, and like yeah, even like from 12 months ago, Claire, from the progress that we've made, and sort of now, and especially in the last few months, it's been very sort of eye-opening. And then almost like any sort of like hint of that kind of behavior, I'm like, nah, like no, like yeah, I don't want to tolerate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
because it costs you too much, too many sleepless nights, too much guesswork.
yeah, all of that.
Yeah, yeah, and then your health has improved. I was
Yeah.
just going to go to Lauren. She knew it. She picked up on that. Hey, Lauren. Yeah, you're the only Lauren in the house, I think.
Oh no.
From a
No.
from a Chinese medicine standpoint, does this correlate with the way you would approach health?
Well, of course, because every emotion physically affects our body, right? And in Chinese medicine, we have no separation between the mind and the body and its manifestations.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just laughing. Rachel, my sister, who's on here as well, we had a conversation last night about how our different dynamics being different in the order. She's the oldest, I'm the youngest, and how we relate to our mum who's going through a health crisis at the moment. And I tend to try to please her, and that's a little bit enabling.
Yeah.
Whereas my sister's a
Yes,
little
Rachel,
bit.
I hear you. Yes.
Rachel's like, yeah, Lauren, that's what you're doing. You're rushing every time she has a problem, you're rushing over and giving her the ability to I guess, get her needs met from me without her having to do the actions. That's a real childhood thing.
Yeah, you make a
Mm.
really good point, because then the different role, I gotta check. Look, Rachel, which role do you think then you took on? Like this,
It's
I won't
really
even,
funny because I raised it because mum's going through a health issue and Lauren sees what's going on. She presents to Lauren a lot differently to how she presents to me. And it's almost like I think she's scared if she presents to me in a vulnerable way, I'm gonna be the one who makes the tough decisions, where she feels, because I'll just go, well, we need to do this, this, and this. Whereas Lauren will work her through that gently. But it's funny because in my own personal life with my current situation, like the stuff that you've just been talking about, I have been doing that and it's cost me a lot. I'm at the beginning of this journey and I have been trying to please everyone and it hasn't done any favors to me. So it's really interesting that to others, I'm not, there's other groups that I'm not, and then there are groups that I am. Yeah.
yeah, that's
It's,
interesting, isn't it? Like where
yeah.
that role plays in that's
Yeah.
interesting.
And I think what it is, I actually am doing, I've got ended up putting myself in a position where I am emulating what my mother did in her relationships and her home life all over again. And I'm repeating the outcome.
Yeah,
It's,
wow.
yeah, yeah.
Does that kind of match up then? I don't know if you did the home play, but like when you think about what you're tolerating, does it match up?
It does. I am yet to finish because I didn't come last week and I'm yet to catch up with that. So I was looking through it. I think I've been tolerating a lot unconsciously without realizing it. And there's been, we're talking about some of those feelings. And so resentment has built up and up and up. But I've just kind of pushed it away and just kept going and not really addressed any of it.
Yeah,
And now,
yeah.
now it's hard to know what I'm tolerating and what I just, what it's just also normal.
True. That's a good point. The whole room sort of bouncing their heads. Like, yeah. Thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing that, because that's really, or everybody's content there is really valuable. But yeah, that you give me some interesting insights there with the sister dynamic too. I
Mm.
forgot to include that with the birth order. I'm going to keep going with the slides, but I promise I'll come back to hear everybody else, because I'm going to go and answer, I'm going to go and, sorry, get my words out. I'm going to go answer Rachel's piece here with the emotions. All right, it's all seen? We can see this one? I feel so, like I'm talking about emotions. I feel so bad. This is my poor Nana and Pop, but the picture paints it perfectly. Is your day-to-day role serving your growth or keeping you outdated in old-fashioned patterns, aka like childhood stuff? Your feelings are going to tell you, which Rachel's just highlighted there with that resentment piece. I'm kicking myself because I took out the really detailed ones on these, but it is what it is. If you're feeling shame, it tells us that you've again put somebody else's expectations in front of you. So I don't measure up to your standards. The guilt, I've done wrong by you. There's a values violation. It is likely that you've got a really strong value for fairness and loyalty, and you want everything to be fair for everybody else. And so then you feel guilty that it's not fair for them if you take the bigger scoop of ice cream. The judgment, the judgment here is I'm not enough to get your approval. So somebody else has dictated what's right or wrong, and now you're trying to change who you are to, again, gain their approval. The interesting thing with judgment here is you need to question, like, why we're playing in that polarity of right and wrong, and what happens when we come out of that judgment just to be neutral. Like, that's an interesting point of view that you've got. So the judgment really pulls you into doubt and everything else, playing into other people's rules. There's another piece there, but it's gone. Frustration. Frustration is telling me that you know what you want, and yet there's something that's going on that's blocking you from having what you want. So you know what you want, and yet, like, oh, I need to go tend to mum, or I need to go whatever you think you need to do. Somebody else is blocking you from having what you want, because again, probably the guilt comes in because you want to do right by others. But I know for myself, if I'm frustrated that I can't reach that next, ceiling or break that barrier, like I know what I want, it's the frustration, and I have to have a look at where I'm handing my power away to other people, trying to be the right mum for my kids instead of saying yes to me, like whatever. Anger. Oh, empaths are fabulous with anger. I love working in this one. I get really excited. I have to get the cup off the table or I'll spill it. Anger is always a secondary emotion. It always, always follows powerlessness. And in empaths, sensitive souls, people pleasers, you do anger with tears, not the angry outburst. The anger is saying, basically, I'm powerless to get you to hear my needs. Like, why can't you hear me? So it's the tears or it's the loudness. And it tells us that somebody's invaded your boundaries, that you're powerless to get them to see and consider your value or to consider your needs are important. And so the anger is like, back off, like it comes second after the vulnerability. And then the hurt, or hurt, when people are feeling hurt, you've hurt my feelings. You can't hurt my feelings. I chose that. But if I'm feeling hurt, I'm also asking somebody else to put their hand in. If I'm in a hole and I feel like I'm really hurt by you, I also then asking you to put your hand in and rescue me. And so again, I'm handing my power away in each and every single one of these scenarios. Anytime that you've got those limiting emotions, I often consider them as questions waiting for you to answer. Like there's an inner child piece here, questioning, like, why am I not important enough? Why are you not seeing me? Why are you not hearing me? And they may not be logical, like what we spoke about earlier with the meaning that you're putting to the scenario. Doesn't matter. The emotion is saying that there's still this belief in you or old-fashioned program waiting for somebody else outside of you to have the solution. Any ahas here or any questions?
Yes.
I heard a yes. I didn't see who said that.
Oh, it was me.
Amy.
Emma. The one person in the world that makes me really angry, and I don't get angry much, is my mother. So she's a narcissist. And to find
Yep,
out that
see.
I'm powerless to hear my needs, she never fucking hears my needs. It's always about her.
Yeah. Yep. And then what they'll do is they'll put you into a bit of a spin where I didn't say that. What they do is they put you into a level of confusion. And the
Yes.
minute that you're confused, the minute that you're questioning,
Yeah.
you're handing your power over to them because you're trying to sort it out, trying to justify, and then the anger is actually trying to protect you by saying your boundaries are not, and I'll finish the sentence, saying that your boundaries are not strong enough that she could even invade. And that's where I say to people that I coach is if your buttons are being pushed, that you need boundaries, then you need to actually address the button so that you raise your frequency and they can't touch you. So the boundaries piece is there until you do the work and then you don't need the boundaries. And boundaries go both ways. Jess has heard me say, like, bring me my chocolate ice cream, but keep away the strawberry muck. Boundaries aren't just what you want to exclude, they're also what you'll allow in. And then you must stick to your boundaries, not expect other people to obey them. So I've just given you like a bit of a lecture there, Emma, but it was just, how does that resonate with you?
I'm usually pretty good at the boundaries, but the other day, because usually I only give her a small amount of time, and the other day I did double, like instead of just going to lunch or just going to a movie, we did both. And oh my God, by the end of it, my limit was gone and I just got really angry. I was like, yep, I've definitely gone past my limit.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then what happens if you keep that up is that's when you start to get unwell. And because then the body says, sorry, I'm sick. You can't come near me. Sorry about that. And then it's the polite way of telling them to back off.
Yeah.
But that's when, for everybody, like if you're trying to manifest in health, it's usually the virus, the head cold, the migraine is trying to protect you from something because you don't trust your voice will be heard most of the time anyway.
Okay.
Any questions? I know we got into a heavy topic. Everyone's looking really. Throw some sugar at you. Thanks, Corinne. I'll keep going, but I promise it's going to lighten up. Yeah, so when you've got those limiting feelings, the shame, the guilt, you're handing your power away, you're off your own path. The interesting thing here to keep notice of, especially ones who do anxiety, is you cannot show up enough, do enough at work, with friends, overcompensating in family dynamics. You cannot do enough to know that you'll get the approval, the belonging, the acceptance. And if they know that, if they know that that's an insecurity in you, that you need to belong, they'll just keep asking for more, 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 more. And you're in that dynamic now. You might not notice. Your body will definitely notice. So some of those self-reflecting questions then is, whose approval am I chasing? What roles am I performing? What if they don't agree with you? And as Rachel had said, it's different scenarios. What would change if you trusted your inner authority over the expectations? So like the judgment piece, it's just came back. If you're worried about other people's judgments or even judging yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most, how much are those judgments impacting you? And if that judgment was brought down to a 1, what would that free you up to do differently? And you start to recognize the balance is it just costs you too much to be trying to live up to other people's judgments. So here we go. What are you tolerating? Now, really quickly, on the surface level, it might look like you're tolerating the messy kitchen bench, which is hilarious, guys, because I originally had a different scenario. So people who are talking about the kitchen bench, this is for you. But basically, you want to check in, it's not about the kitchen bench. It's not about how you're loading the dishwasher. Underneath this, there's a nervous system bracing for the consequences of asking for help or delegating, making other people uncomfortable. What's it going to cost you? The eye roll, the teenage huff. Again, all of those limiting emotions of like that resentment that starts to build up. When we start to resolve everything that's causing you to should yourself, then cleaning the kitchen as just having a quick look here, cleaning the kitchen by choice becomes something that you could do, like you want to, not because you should have to. So it almost becomes a bit like what Jess would do, turn the music on, have fun with it. Preparing the meals or snacks to soothe somebody else's mood is no longer out of fear and worrying about them exploding. It's a gesture of love because you're choosing to, not because you're doing it based on fear and the shame. Keeping the noise down in the house to support and keep things calm for everybody's nervous system. It's like, yeah, this is with love, self-care. So you're doing it with choice. So we're not necessarily manifesting in the cleaner, but you can. What we're doing is we're changing the way that you respond to your environment and the situation so they can't push your buttons. I do have a bunch more of slides that go positive, but since the slide is here, I hand it over to you, Jess.
Yeah. Anyone have any questions with that? I definitely was resonating with a lot of that.
I want to check with you,
Questions?
Jess. What stands out to you?
Um, all of it. I think well, I wasn't really thinking about me as such. I was thinking about clients when it comes to the shoulds and what clients have previously said to me when it comes to tolerating the messy room or the messy house or needing that it's like that need, right? They're needing to clean all the time, needing to vacuum all the time just to sort their mind out so that they can move on to the thing that really matters. And it's like, yeah, exactly. What's actually beneath that? That's because essentially that's costing you the time to go and do the thing that matters because you're taking time out of your day to go and do the cleaning or even thinking about like the shoulds, like what are the shoulds that people are saying? Like, oh, my kitchen's messy. Someone's coming to drop something off. Oh, well, I should just quickly clean up. Oh, what will they think if I haven't? And it's like, People say this to me all the time, friends, and I'm like, I don't care what your house looks like. I care what my space looks like. I really don't care. You can live the way you want. But yeah, just coming back to that choice. So it's a good point that you bring up of, well, things that I like to do of what can you do in this moment? I think about me with the lawn mowing. There's like a lot of obligation with that. It's definitely my role. Do it when I want you to do it, all that blah 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 stuff. However, I was coming back home the other day and I was like, oh, it's a really good day. It could rain any day. Like right now is the time that I should do it. I got home and I was like, you know what? I don't have to do this, but I actually really want to. Like, I really feel like it's a good day. Put on a podcast, like, get out there. And you know what happened? We got to the end of it and the whole lawnmower broke on me. Like, it just oil everywhere, all over the lawn. It was definitely when I needed a male's help. And if I had gone, I was fine about it. I was like, this is kind of fun. Like, this is kind of a challenge, like, get it all cleaned up. If I went into that with the shoulds, I would have hated everything about that situation. But I didn't. Cleaned it up fast, called some males, come over and help me. All was good. And it was actually quite a funny experience. So, like, it was the difference between going into that, like, of the I have to versus, like, I'm actually get to choose to do this. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm going to interject there because that's where with the cleaning scenario, are you cleaning because you're worried about what people think or cleaning for yourself? But then we need to have a look at the undercurrent. Like if you didn't clean, what was the consequences? What is the perfectionism going on that's trying to protect you from other people's judgments? The procrastination is trying to protect you from people's judgments because once it's finished, you're going to judge me and it's not, you're going to move the goal, all of that proving piece. So yes, underneath it, and I do know that when you take out the pressure, worrying about what people think, all of that, as you said, Jess, like the energy's there to clean the house or not. And I hand it back to you though. Sorry, I took over.
No, I went from one to the other to the other to the other. Does anyone else have any ahas from that? Anything that's coming to mind? No?
Yeah, Corinne.
Where do I start with this? Well, yeah, I obviously all of this resonate with me massively. It has for a long time, and it's something that I've been working on for quite some time. I think it's embedded quite deep in me, from many reasons that Claire and Jess know, from childhood and so on. But I'm so much more aware of it and in so many ways, like just I was just thinking as you were talking through all of this that even just a couple of days ago I went to Leroy Merlin to purchase a shower door. Anyway, long story short, they're asking about the delivery and there's all these should, and I was thinking back of my thought pattern at the time, and I was like, he giving me two choices and I'm like, well, I should really do it then, but then what if I get better and I should really go to Canada and they expecting me there and they, again to keep the peace. And there was, I mean, it's endless the amount of like what I should be doing versus what I could do as in rest and start everybody else because it's always about everybody else and just get better and get the shower in whenever. But instead, I just like said, okay, I made a whole plan in my head. Okay, this, and then I'll do that. That's the safest. And then I'm looking back like, and that's just one little thing. And I mean, my life is full of that, and I'm realizing that all the time. But it's just a very concrete example of just 2 days ago where I'm like, it's so clear how I just base my decision on nothing about me.
Yeah. Yay, we finally got you to get that, Corinne. Yay! That's your freedom piece. It's like, yes, the freedom for you to choose.
Yeah, totally.
Yay. Thank you for
So I've
sharing.
decided some stuff. I've decided I'm not going to Canada. I'm going to go back to Milroy and ask them to deliver early.
Yay. I'll keep moving along with the slides so that we can get up to the beautiful process. Manifesting. I do invite you to think about the big thing that you want. Ooh, got a whole list of fantastic things that we're manifesting. The car, the travel, tapping that credit card, knowing there's money, the love life, and everything else that comes with your version of paradise. You do have the choice to do what's right for you. Is that right, Hayley? Hayley knows what I'm talking about with coaching. You can release the limiting emotions, the fear, the guilt, the shame. And when you do, life's going to get easier. You feel good to ask, like what Corinne was saying, you ask for what you need. You trust that the support's there. You're manifesting the right support, not the judgmental support. You getting in the right help with discernment. People feel invested and valued in your life. And this is where you start to fall in love with your life. That is like, yeah, cool. I'm asking for what I want. I'm manifesting in the people that respect that. And I have had client experiences where they have elderly mums, they've served, they've helped, they've given, they've put aside their love life and all of the things to make sure they're there for mum. And then when I started to work multiple clients in this scenario, when you work through the guilt, the shame, got to please mum, got to help mum, got to be there for mum, all of the things, they start to change the dance. And it's quite incredible. I'm thinking of a particular client specifically where she started to attract in a man that adored her. She wasn't as home as much. And then mum started actually getting healthier and better. Mum didn't need to be sick to get the attention. Mum didn't need to be sick to like feel valued. And that particular client, her mum started to catch the train and go to art galleries, and then she started to meet friends, and she's like, oh my gosh, Claire, like, were you coaching me or my mother? And it was like, who cares? Like, this is fabulous. So after you release the feelings of not being enough, the insecure takers reveal their true colors. They can't push your buttons anymore because, as I said, you're not there at that level. You no longer feel reactive to their bait and their confusion and like be there, don't be there, tug and war. The power dynamic is shifted. They are now faced with the choice to do the inner work, just like you did, to be able to stay and meet you where you're at a healthier level. Or like that other client, like where mum's off traveling and she's off having a love life, like they have the opportunity to also do the inner work, or they can walk away. But either way, you're living by your truth and what's important to you, not people pleasing, not checking in because there's fear, there's guilt, there's shame. Oh my God, got to fix, got to help. Because life is definitely too short to live by other people's standards. No wonder you're manifesting freedom, craving it. No wonder your intuition's getting you to pay attention. My naughty slide here says, how do you feel about tolerating life without what you want? Your emotions are information. They're telling you about that block. You definitely can do something about it. Stop playing into old childhood roles, people pleasing, shoulding. Easier said than done, but it's worth the work, like Jess had said. And the interesting thing, when you start to value you, you're not waiting for divine timing anymore. You're actually activating it. Because when you understand that you're the CEO and that life is now responding to your worth, your value, the universe stops stalling, it stops mirroring back the problems, it starts to accelerate your manifesting. So as we spoke about in the last session, we're not waiting for divine timing. You are actioning and activating that divine timing, because we see other successful people do this. You're allowed to do this. So pay attention, take aligned action, get those results, and obviously coming away, prioritizing what you need, like what Corinne had said there. You respond with clarity instead of being confused. Feel positive, saying yes to the things that you want, validating your own worth. You own your feelings, your choices. The house is tidy or not. Who cares? You feel grounded and self-led. So you're not leaning in for comfort food. You're not doing those things that are putting on the weight, that are making you feel heavy, that are blah, 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 all of that. It's now pivoted. And the interesting thing, and I took out these slides about the water, but when you're feeling better, you're craving the healthier foods and the healthier things, not the comfort that you need to soothe all of the guilt and the shame. So then you're pursuing your passion with excitement because you're only going to say yes to the things that light you up because it costs you too much to come down. So what we're going to do now is we will have a toilet break. There's even an interesting slide for it. But yeah, so I remember to invite you to go to the loo. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back, and the process, I tried to, it was originally 27 minutes. I got it down to 19. So we're going to go through a 20-minute deep hypnosis process where we're going to go back in childhood to that fear of being excluded, not belonging. We're going to call in the support that you need, because when you think about the thing that you want, how are you going to say yes to what you want if you're still tolerating not asking for help on the small things? So this is where that big shift is. If you can't ask for help with the lawnmower, how on earth are you going to ask for help when it comes to hiring a VA or whatever else that you need? So we'll come back at 8 o'clock or in 6 minutes, and then we'll go into a beautiful, wonderful trance and start the solution. Or you can stay here and chat to me. It's one of my triggers, the silence.